Okay, welcome to the health and safety lesson for textiles. It's really important that you listen carefully today. We need to keep you safe, you need to keep others safe. The aim of today is to make sure that you understand the implications of every action that you take. Today what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to use the sewing machine, make sure that you can use it safely and with confidence. Now initially you may be a little bit apprehensive. That's okay. We're going to show you how to use it properly. You will make mistakes, we understand that. However, overconfidence is dangerous. So for a bronze today, you're going to watch the demonstration, understand how to do a basic stitch and use the sewing machine. For a silver, you're going to apply that knowledge and show us how to use a basic stitch on the sewing machine with a little bit more independence. And finally, for a gold, you're going to extend your understanding so that you're able to create slightly more complex lines on the machine. The aim of today is that all students will complete a sewing machine driving test and be signed off by your teacher and technician. Now today's task is to learn to use the sewing machine. We're going to be using a basic straight stitch initially. You're going to work through a variety of templates depending on your ability. Now if you can't do it today, don't panic. The more that you practice, the more able you will become and you will progress a lot more. However, first thing we're going to do, we need to know your sewing ability. So using the post-it notes in front of you, we are going to make sure that we understand where you sit currently. At the very beginning of the lesson, are you the person who maybe thinks that they could sew a basic straight stitch? Are you the person that maybe can sew a curved line? You're a little bit more confident. Are you quite confident and now you can turn a corner and you can show a zigzag line, or can you follow any sort of map? If you write down on your post-it notes and then come over to the board and stick those on, your teacher will now press pause. Okay, your demonstration is going to be given by your teacher today and it will be showing you how to use the sewing machine in a safe manner. You need to listen carefully, you need to ask questions once the demonstration is complete, and for further recaps you can always go onto YouTube. If you type in Rushymede Academy Textiles, it will bring you all the video clips that we've been working on over the last couple of weeks. Once you've done that, you can then apply the knowledge. So your extension task today, once you have completed or you're waiting to complete your sewing machine driving test, is to work on the worksheet. You need to label each part of the machine, having seen the demonstration completed by your teacher already. I would like you now to match the names of the parts of the machine.
Right.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah.
So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to match the name of the parts of the machine. It's important that you use your common sense. A lot of the items that you will do in textiles will be common sense related. So think logically and then use your powers of deduction to work out where there is an odd name or part of the machine. Once you've completed it, your teacher will then place onto the screen whether you are correct or not. Now once we get to this point, it's fairly important that we understand what each element is. So first of all, we've got a presser foot. A presser foot is really very important. It holds our fabric in place. Now you must make sure that this is tight. You can do this using your presser foot thumb screw that you can actually turn towards you. That will tighten it up. If you really need to tighten it up, speak to your technician or your teacher because they will use a screwdriver to do that. The next part that you will need to use is your hand wheel. Your hand wheel is really very important. You always turn that towards you because if you turn it away it will tangle up your work. Then you've got your stitch selector. If you are trying to do a slightly fancier stitch using these down here, you will need to read the little lozenge shape here and set your length and width accordingly. Now when you start sewing, you need to make sure that you lock your stitch in. Use your reverse button at the very beginning and the very end of each stitch. Your needle, without it, your machine simply won't work. So make sure that it's clamped in using the needle clamp. If it moves at all, make sure that's clamped in. Underneath you have your bobbin, so you will see your hook cover. This will only ever be taken off by either your teacher or technician. If you do need to have exposure to that, if you do need to get into there for any reason, for example your bobbin has clogged up, your threads are slightly tangled underneath, please put your hand up, speak to your teacher or your technician, they will sort it out for you. You have a thread cutter over here, so if you have forgotten to pick up a pair of scissors, grab the thread from the left hand side and use your thread cutter. It's a little knife over here. However, it can cause you a few issues because you have to pull quite hard to get that thread to cut. You take up lever. The only time that this will ever be visible is when your needle is in the up position. Okay. The final two that you will need to know, you've got your upper thread guide, so when you place your upper thread onto the top, it needs to go round the back of your upper thread guide. This silver piece here is only ever used when you are winding your bobbin, so that will be your bobbin winding spindle. Once you're confident with all of this, it's really important that you use the correct terminology, simply because when we're talking to you, we need to make sure that you understand. When you're talking to us, you need to make sure that we understand also. The final thing that we'd like you to do in this lesson, once you've completed your sewing machine driving test, is move your post-it note to where you feel. So are you confident? Very, very confident. Are you maybe less so, but you know how to do your zigzag stitch, turn, use your corners, that kind of thing? Are you kind of needing a little bit of assistance and still panicking and therefore can complete a curved line? Or do you need our assistance on the next couple of lessons to build up your confidence because you are able to do a basic straight stitch? Now, well done for today. We're really very proud of what you've done. Hopefully, with a little bit more practice, you will become absolutely amazing at working on those machines. Well done and take care.